JD Vance is even scarier. He's even more radical than Donald Trump. He's really the one that we have to fear. This is Jen Psaki, who appeared on this crazy ass podcast, which we talked about yesterday. And I don't even know this person. I can't remember her name, but she's very radical. Jennifer Welsh, is that her name? Yeah, she's a nutcase. And she's been getting more and more vocal because she says really radical, weird leftist things. She's a moron. She literally has no political background or anything else to recommend her opinion. But here she is hosting Jen Psaki, and here are Jen Psaki's deep thoughts on JD Vance, SOT 16.
I think the little Manchurian candidate, JD Vance, wants to be president more than anything else.
How's he Manchurian?
Yeah. I always wonder what's going on in the mind of his wife. Like, Are you okay? Please blink 4 times.
Yes.
We'll come over here. We'll save you.
You're a bitch.
And that he's willing to do anything to get there. I mean, he's scarier in certain ways.
He's smarter.
In some ways. And he's young.
Yeah. And ambitious.
And agile in the sense that he is a chameleon who makes himself into whatever he thinks the audience wants to hear from him. Now, what's also true, though, is JD Vance is not – he's in some ways goodish on paper if you like what he believes in. I don't know. But I don't know that he can take the whole movement with him.
No way.
I don't think so either.
There's no riz.
It's got no riz.
No nothing.
And he just is a little odd. And
Totally.
so Trump's odd in a different way. So I'm skeptical of that. So yeah, he's got to, I mean, everything going on right now, and I think we have to be very clear-eyed about this, is about trying to manipulate the public around elections.
There's so much to digest there. Okay. The fact that these two far leftists, I don't know who the other Nimrod is next to that first hateful person, but the fact that these two blonde women, these two Trump-hating blonde women whose only badge of honor is their hatred of Trump, their TDS, they're going to weigh in. No way, JD Vance. You don't know shit, you absolute fucking morons. You know nothing. You know nothing about MAGA. You know nothing about JD. You know nothing about Trump. And I love, love, love that some portion of the left is being misled by these three losers. This is great. This is wonderful for team sanity. JD Vance 100% can do it. He's going to do it. Sorry to break it to you, ladies. He's going to. Why is a 46-year-old woman, Jen Psaki, using the term Riz? That's already been rejected by my 12-year-old. Okay, so get with the program. You only sound old when you try to sound like a prepubescent teenage boy or girl. Okay, Jen, Dora the Explorer. That's how we see Jen Psaki. So she doesn't know what she's talking about. The nerve of her to describe Usha as some sort of a hostage. Now, listen, first of all, you're a white woman and you should not be talking about a brown woman this way. Your party sets these rules and you have to live by them. When a brown person has opinion of any kind, you have to put on your listening ears and maybe take a beat. We've heard that from your side. All right. So you are not allowed to say that Usha Vance is in a hostage situation just because she's married to the current vice president, whom she happens to adore. Jen Psaki, I guarantee you don't know Usha Vance. You've never spent 2 minutes with Usha Vance. Those of us who have know one of the first things you notice about her is how deeply in love she is with her husband. Why don't you read Hillbilly Elegy? Why don't you listen to 2 minutes of what JD Vance has said in his public interviews? These two have a classic, wonderful, moving, deep American love story. In many ways, Usha saved JD. His whole life is a story of women coming to his rescue. His big sister, Lindsay, when his mom was hooked on heroin and drugs and bringing man after man into their home. It was a rough upbringing. His Aunt Wee, his grandma, of course, his mama, who was the primary and dominant figure in his life. And then he went off to law school. And it was Amy Chua, professor there, and Usha, who saved him from the demons that can come from a lifetime of being brought up in that kind of an environment. And those two have a relationship that will never be broken. Usha is far from a hostage. If anything, she's a rescuer. She's somebody who swooped in and was exactly what JD Vance needed at exactly the right time. And he had, I'm sure, and she hasn't spoken to me about this personally, but I'm sure JD's bare knuckle brawling, background and self-effacing personality and approach to life was probably very appealing to her. She's from more of a buttoned up background. So fuck off, Jen Psaki, for trying to psychoanalyze Usha as a hostage, which again, according to the rules from your side, you're not allowed to do. Put on your listening ears and maybe take a beat. Then she refers to JD as a Manchurian candidate. What does that mean? Manchurian candidate is somebody who gets like sneaked into the presidential role and is controlled by a foreign country. What foreign country is JD Vance controlled by? Who's controlling him? JD Vance is actually very focused on the United States of America. He's the one, more than Trump even, who doesn't want us to get involved in these international conflicts and create situations where we might have no choice but to put American boots on the ground. Who is controlling him? Who is it? You failed to say. You just pass gratuitous insults off as somehow sophisticated political analysis, and the two morons across from you had no idea what you were saying, so they let it slide. He's a chameleon. She has the nerve to say JD Vance, is a chameleon. This from Jen Psaki, whose nominee for the presidency a few months back was Kamala Harris. Have you no decency, man? My sorrow. Joy cometh in the morning. That Kamala Harris. I think you have your chameleons confused, Jen Psaki. So that's what's happening over on the left. And by the way, a gratuitous insult that he's ambitious. Right. Like literally every person who ever ran for vice president or president. Okay. I guess we can pretend it's just a JD Vance thing. Whatever floats your boat. Okay. Let's keep going. Sunny Hostin is out there with some comments about the white people in her neighborhood. Now, not for nothing, but if you take a look at Sunny Hostin over the years, she's getting progressively whiter. Like over and over in these pictures, I don't know what she's doing with her makeup or whatever, but she lives in a white neighborhood and she looks like time after time you see these photos of her where her makeup is about as light as mine is. So I don't know how she feels about white people, but every time she speaks out about them publicly, she's got the blonde hair tips in 9 out of her 10 appearances and whatever. She's ripping on them as racist. So I'm kind of confused about where she stands on whites. The whites who live in her very Tony neighborhood in Purchase, New York, she thinks are racists. She surrounded herself with a bunch of racists and chosen to raise her children around a bunch of racists. How do I know? She just told us. She was talking about how she allegedly had to go out there and warn the cops in her neighborhood about her son who was running and training for the Junior Olympics, who is black, that he's hers. Well, I'll let her tell you. Watch.
As a mother of black children, I know that black boys are not given the presumption of innocence and the presumption of youth. She's calling the police and saying they're trying to steal her car and they're 11 years old. They don't know how to drive. And so for me, what was interesting was I have had to be in the position where I have gone to my local police department because I know my son is going to be training for the Junior Olympics, running around the neighborhood in an all-white neighborhood. And I have brought him to the police and said, he belongs to me. This is my son. Do not harass him. Do not stop him.
Okay. She was talking about this new Netflix show that is called The Perfect Neighbor, that documents a white woman shooting and killing dead her black neighbor through a closed door. They had been having some sort of a dispute, and it had been getting more and more heated, and the black neighbor's children had bothered in some way the white woman. They had a heated exchange, and the black mother came over to, settle the dispute in some way. And this white woman shot her through the front door. By the way, the woman was charged with manslaughter with a firearm. She tried to argue self-defense and stand your ground. It didn't work. The jury found her guilty. She was sentenced to 25 years in prison. So that's what happened in that case. And Sunny Hostin wants to liken her neighborhood, and apparently her neighbors, to this woman. Buy gold and get free silver. That's right. For every $5,000 purchased from Birch Gold Group this month in advance of Veterans Day, they will send you a free patriotic silver round that commemorates the Gadsden and American flags. Look, gold is up over 40% since the beginning of this year, and Birch Gold can help you own it by converting an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. Plus, they'll send you free silver honoring our veterans on qualifying purchases. And if you are current or former military, Birch Gold has a special offer just for you. They are waiving custodial fees for the first year on investments of any amount. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, consider diversifying your savings into gold. Text MK to the number 989898 for a free info kit and to claim your eligibility for free silver with qualifying purchase before the end of the month. Again, text MK to the number 989898. Message and data rates may apply. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.